Greetings and hallucinations. It's been a while. Welcome. My name is Buddy. This is Spun Together. It's a knitting podcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it, show and tell. Just showcasing a little bit of what I've done, what I've been working on, and with this episode, a little bit of what's been going on. It's been more than a hot minute. It's been a long time. I've been staying with my mother. She's needed someone to stay with her. So I've been here most of the year. Let's just leave it at that. She is doing okay. Hopefully I'll be going home end of the month, so it may be the end of the month before I'm able to upload this. The connection at her house is not that great. Do not have Wi-Fi, so everything is just whatever the phone can pick up. And I'm sure a lot of you understand that. So, let's go ahead and get started, because I may need to keep it short, and there may be part 2 or even a part 3. Some of the things that I've been working on. I finished my brother's sweater. I also finished my sweater. I'm not sure if I showed it the last time. Hold on. It's just a simple drop sleeve sweater. I do have my pockets in it. Got the button band. It's a cardigan. I did opt not to put the buttons on, although I do have buttonholes. I have them placed all the way down. I did a 1x1 rib going vertically, so everything sort of blends in. That way I can wear it with or without buttons. And so far it's without buttons. And I'm going to go ahead and slide it off now. This was made from Snuggly Wuggly. It's a Michael's brand. DK weight, 100% acrylic. I think the colorway name is gray. I'm not sure. To me, it's more of a taupe, but I think I covered that the last time. I don't have ball band with me, so I can't verify anything. I also finished my brother's sweater. It was made, I did write this one down, even though I don't have a ball band. Hirschner's Baby in the colorway of Nap Time. It's an 80-20 wool acrylic blend. That may be a separate standalone video, because I did get him to model it for me. I'll either attach it to the end of this video, or it'll be a standalone. And if it is standalone, then it will just say something to the effect of little brother's sweater or baby brother's sweater. In case you haven't noticed, this is my mother's living room, and definitely not mine. So what have I been working on? Quite a bit. It's been a lot of hurry up and wait. I'm a night owl, and her sleep patterns are not exactly the best here lately. So if there's a sudden stop to this video and you see a part 2, then you know that she's up and needs me. Some nights it's every 45 minutes. Some nights it's every 2 hours. So far I'm teetering with time. My current work in progress, and you're going to see a lot of these, I'm working on a feather and fan. I've been doing quite a few Afghans, and she had made the comment that she wanted one that was peachy pink. I'm using Pound of Love, and hopefully I'll not forget to flip the video so that it'll be you can read it. This is the colorway of Pink Salt. If I can find it on here, I'll hold it up. Yes. I'm not sure how well it's going to focus. I prefer to leave it in the bag when I can get it with a bag. And that way I can just pick the bag up and carry it around, because I use the center pull and it tends to collapse in on itself a lot. I'm using Chalco needles, US size 10, 6mm. The 40-inch, or whatever the equivalent is to their 40-inch cable. The 5-inch tip. For the border, what I've been doing is just a simple knit one, purl one edging on the side. For the bottom, I do about 3 rows of garter stitch, and then I put a pattern in, and then I begin the pattern of the feather and fan. To me, that helps control some of the roll on the edge. As you can see, not all of the roll, but some of the roll for the edge. And I think it just makes it a little smoother transition to and fro. Between sitting at the hospital and staying here, I have completed 5 Afghans, and I'm on number 6, which I've also started another one, which I put on hold because I had ordered her yarn. And when it came in, she's like, I want this one, and I want it blanket size. I was like, what size is blanket size? So it's only 1 pattern repeat wider, thankfully, and about 1.5 feet, 2 foot longer. She wants to be able to put it on the bed and use it as a blanket. So she's getting what she wants. It takes 1.25 to 1.5 skeins of Pound of Love to make an Afghan, the size that I make them. So I ordered her 2 of the pink sea salt, and she couldn't make up her mind if she wanted that or a multicolor. So she named off some of the colors that she liked, and they have Bundle of Love. So I thought, well, that's the colors that she's been naming off. They're all pastels. She's a pastel person. She decided she wanted the pink one first, the peach one first. But this one is on standby, and the color name is Chamomile. So she'll be getting this one next. It may end up being chevrons, or it may end up being another feather and fan. Right now I have no clue. I'm going to play with it and see how long the color repeats are, how long the color changes are. And while I was ordering hers, I ordered something for myself. It is also a Bundle of Love. The bags on these are big enough that I don't have to worry about. It's a Bundle of Love in the Nightfall colorway. So, here we go. The specs on these two, they're both medium weight of 4, 8 or a 5mm knitting needle, a J, a 10, or 6mm crochet hook. The yardage in these, they're only 11 ounces, which is 312 grams, 688 yards, or 629 meters. So I'm thinking 2 full skeins of this should get a good size African. We will see. That's being knitted, not crochet. Crochet would probably take 2 full pounds of love. I'm not exactly sure because I've been doing knitting. It's goes slower because it takes 3 or 4 rows to be the same as a double crochet. Her peach Afghan, currently I'm at 188 stitches on the needle, so it does take me a while. Even though I'm a fast knitter, it does take a while, and it keeps me busy, and I need patterns that I don't have to think about, something I can just sit down, run to whatever I need to do, and come back, pick it up, and not have to think a lot about it. The feather and fan, yes, I've had to tink back quite a few times. So far, once on the peach one, and you'll see some of the other ones, it's been tinked back several times. Okay, in the order that I've got them written down, so I try not to forget what I'm talking about. This was a pound and a half of love. It's the moss stitch. It was made for a friend who's been helping us out, and it's a big one. What can I say? I'm sure it blew the screen out. You may or may not be able to tell the texture. The moss stitch, you'll have a knit one, purl one, and the next row coming back, you will knit what needs to be knitted to keep the rib pattern and purl what needs to be purled to keep the rib pattern. But your third row is when you switch the pattern. The double moss would be like a knit two, purl two, where the moss is a knit one, purl one. It's almost like the seed stitch, whereas the seed stitch you would reverse the pattern on the return row, and that's the major difference. But the names are interchangeable with each other. This one is, like I said, for a dear friend that's been helping us out. The dimensions 59 by 46. This is also using a pound of love in the colorway bright white, and it is bright and it is white, and I hope he enjoys it. Someone that, under the circumstances at least, has been knitworthy. He's been there when we've needed extra help. And another one for someone who's been there, a very dear friend's mother. She has offered help in more ways than she realizes. This one is 45 by 38. It's another feather and fan. This is just 1 pound of love in the colorway of thistle. It does stretch out to be a little bit bigger than the dimensions. When I measured the dimensions, what I did, I laid it down on a bed and just stretched the tape measure across it. And I didn't pull, I didn't squish. I just let it, as it would lay down, is how I measured it. The standard Afghan is approximately 40 by 45, and that's when it goes from being like a lap blanket or lap Afghan on up into the Afghan stage and then into the blanket stage. And different people have different terms for everything. I was always taught it was an Afghan, and most people will call it a blanket, which is fine. Just do not call a quilt a blanket. That's when you get quilters mad at you. And for one of my aunts who's been like a second mother to me, I'm thankful, very blessed to have 2 aunts still living on my mother's side. And yes, another feather and fan. This is the additional 1.5 pounds of love in the colorway of white. I had 3 skeins, and the dimensions on this one, 50 by 38. So it's in the standard Afghan range. I just wanted to say thank you and let her know I was thinking about her. And I've got a couple more to show. I asked my brother, he had to go out of town for a few things, and he was like, I'm going to be stopping at this place and this place. Do you need anything? I was like, no, but I do want you to pick me up something. And I showed him what the pound of love was. I was like, pick me out some colors, 1.5 or 2, I can get a full Afghan out of. So he's like, well, how will I know what you want? I was like, call me, text me, video chat, whatever, when you get there, and we'll talk through it. So we talked for a few minutes. He's like, I can't decide. So he ended up getting 2 of 3 different colors. It's like, no problem. I'll work with it. Whatever's left, I can do scrappy. So that's what I'm going to do. This one is 54 by 38. And it's also a pound of love. It's in the colorway of denim. And he bought the yarn because I just wanted something to do with my hands. You can only clean so much and you can only twiddle your thumbs so much. And I'm finding myself watching more TV than I need to. But I do love Ancient Aliens, so there's at least one night a week I don't complain. And the other two, I did a mix and match on. The colorway on this one is antique white, and I forgot what the blue is. And I don't have the ball band with me. It's in the bedroom I'm sleeping in. But I'm doing chevrons for this one. And the one that I'm putting on hold, I'm doing a reverse. So where this one has the blue, I'm putting the white. So the white will be, the antique white will be dominant, and the blue will just be the accent. Actually, I think this is called green, but it shows up blue both on camera and here in person. It could be the lighting because we did switch everything fluorescent as the incandescents wore out and burn out, and I think 3 of them may be LEDs by now. So this one, did I say how big it was? Yeah, 55 by 37. And I think I know who he's going to be giving these two to, but I may be wrong, but I could be right. But he bought the yarn just so I'd have something to work on, so this is something for him to give. It's just me saying thank you for giving me something to keep my hands busy. The couple of patterns to show you. The sweater that I was wearing, I used one of my favorite patterns for this one, and I can't even remember the name of it now. I'd used this, Dream Carding. I'd used the same pattern when I made Mom's couple of sweaters for her, as well as the dark gray for myself. I really like the pattern. This last one, I did make this length, and I understand why the pattern is made for this length. It is very cozy. When I first started staying, I brought the sweater and one hoodie and summer clothes because it was beginning to get warm, and I think I had a pair of jeans, I had 2 pairs of shorts. So I ended up wearing my cardigan a lot. It was still very chilly at night. I'd wear the hoodie at the hospital and traveling back and forth, and I'd have the cardigan on at night, and somewhere in between all that, I'd caught a virus, and it was one of those that I was so cold I was literally shaking. So I slept in that sweater for probably 3, maybe 4 days and nights under 2 heavy quilts, and still froze. But the cooler nights, it's been a godsend. I did go home not too long ago and pick up some warm clothes. I had a couple of appointments, so it was like go home, go to the appointment the next morning. The next day I had the second appointment, and after that appointment I came back. End of the month I'll be going home, and hopefully I'll be able to stay for about a week, get a few things caught up, a few things done, take care of some business, and then come back in no idea how long. The sweater I made for my brother, I made it out of the nap time, which is almost the color that he's wearing here. The modifications that I made on his, the band right here in the front, I did not put that center band in. When I tried it with the yarn and the needles that I was using, it didn't pop. It didn't have that show like it does on this one. It may be my gauge, or it may be just the material in general, but I did not like it. I frogged his sweater 3 times, front and back. And I finally decided, okay, I am just going to do the double moss stitch on the top, and I kept the same at the bottom, just plain stockinette. I did double moss stitch up here. I had to lengthen it quite a bit, torso and arms. What else did I do? And I went up a size, don't tell him, but I went up a size more than what he said he wore. And you'll see on the other video, or the end of this one, exactly how well it fits him. I am 5'9". My little brother is 6'2". So I measured to here on me, and that would come to about here on him. So when I measured his arms, I didn't allow the way that the shoulders would drop. So it was either somewhere between measuring him and actually measuring the sweater itself that my measurements got a little bit skewed. So it comes to about here on him, which is good because he has extra long arms, but he wears it right here, so it does have a little bit of bunching to it. But he can push it up, roll it up, whatever he needs to do. And I hope he enjoys it. I hope he likes it. He said he did, and I have it on video that he said that. At home, I do have a pair of socks on the needles. Surprise, surprise. I know, I like my socks. What else do I have? Okay, a little bit of update on Mother. She's doing better. The week that I'm gone, my brother's going to be staying here. My nieces will be here off and on, so there'll be someone here as needed, hopefully as needed and when needed. And I want to update you on a little bit of what I'm going to title this video. It's going to be dragons, crows, and bears. Oh my. The dragons. Mother's chair sits cat-a-corner to the window, and then the TV is over in front of the window. So she has a clear view, whichever she wants to look at, it's clear view to it. She's like, what are those bugs flying around out there? Are they in the house or outside? So I looked, and I was like, it's something outside, but I'm not sure what. So I went out. About half an hour later, I came back in. She's like, well, what was it, and what's going on? Why were you so long? I was like, I was watching the dragons. She looked at me and said, there were dragonflies? I was like, yes, ma'am. There are a horde of dragonflies everywhere. So she was able to see them, but what she could see just looked like bugs that she wasn't sure if they were in the house or outside. But they were beautiful, fully formed, sort of that rust-colored red and maybe like a grass green iridescent on their back shells, but they would dive down into the grass, and they were stirring something up because they would just have a field day with whatever they'd mixed up from the grass, and hopefully they got them all. I was debating on what to call a bunch of dragonflies. It's like, well, a horde of dragons sounds pretty good because dragons hoard everything, so if you have a group, it only makes sense to call it a horde. Okay, that brings us to crows. I've got a boyfriend. Okay, I've got a crow friend. But I go out about 2-3 times during the day and have a smoke. Don't fuss. My nerves won't. I need it. But there's this one crow that's always out there. So we started talking back and forth. I'm like, hello, beautiful. He's like, call. So if I don't speak first, he speaks first. It's just something we started playing back and forth a few months ago. It's before summer, so it's late spring. And I think it's the same one from last year, because when Mother had always taken stale bread or like cornbread that's already past its prime, so to speak, and just tossed it off her front porch for the crows. And then I started doing it because she's like, "You've got to feed the birds. You've got to feed the birds." I've been keeping it up, and one of them's adopted me, and I think I've adopted him or her. So we speak almost every day. And the bears, oh my, like I've established, I am a smoker. Mother would go to bed, made sure she was okay, made sure she was almost asleep or going to sleep. And I decided I was going to go out. So I always go out the front door onto the front porch. I open the door, I turn the light on, and I kept seeing this shadowy thing moving. My first thought was Sasquatch. And then it was like, that's stupid, to be realistic. And then it was like, bear. So I shut the front door. There was a storm door between me and the bear. So I shut the door, went to the windows. As you can see, there's corner windows and another double window on the other side. So I checked, saw this big shadow pass off of the porch and on past the house. Went to the bathroom, came back out, flipped the porch light on, then opened the door, looked both ways, stood there in the door, had a smoke. Then I had a second smoke. Then the next morning, my brother come down. He's like, "Looks like you had a visitor last night." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he showed me a picture, the porch light. It usually hangs in this direction. It was all the way up like this. And all I could think of was me, porch light, me, porch light. That bear was bigger than me. So I was not a happy camper after he showed me that. But I had picked up a couple of plastic containers that had very large teeth marks in them. And the bear had gotten into his garbage is how he knew what it was. The way the houses sit, the road will go this way. Driveway to my mother's house, church, empty lot, my niece, and at the very end of the road, my brother. So everything is less than half a mile. It's 110 acres between the homes. So I'd seen the bear a couple days before, and it was coming from the direction of my brother's house towards my niece's house. So I knew it was big, but I didn't realize how big until I saw the picture of that light that was turned almost straight up. So when I flipped the light on is when I scared it. Or maybe it just took a good look at me and it got scared. I bet that's what it was. I will probably be uploading this at the end of the month because, like I said, the reception here, it takes, for a 15-minute YouTube video for me to watch, sometimes takes 45 minutes just because of buffering. Sometimes I get 1 bar, sometimes 2 bars. If the weather is not just right, no bars. Text and talk seem to work okay. So I am going to be discontinuing my internet at home, but I'll wait until after I upload this, and I'll try to upload at least 1 more when I get home, just to give you an update and maybe go into a little more detail of everything. But I wanted to do the show and tell because I'm going to go ahead and give these to the recipients. I think that's all I have. That's all I have written down. And I will do a better update. If anyone has any questions, if you'd like for me to do a Q&A, just either send me an email at spuntogethercrafts, spuntogethercrafts, at gmail.com, or just leave a comment below. The worst that I can do is say I am not going to answer that, or just say no. But most of my life, even though I'm a very secretive person, I tend to be overly honest about certain things. So forgive me if I'm bluntly honest, but at the same time respect me for being bluntly honest. It's a two-edged sword, just like life is. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for remembering me. And thank you for being you. Oh, the card of the day. I don't have a card of the day with me. But do remember this. Be careful whom you trust. Remember, salt and sugar look the same. You have a great day.